All of you know, I mean, originally I'm Lynn Geyser. I actually was in the military from 93 to 2004. And during that, I served active National Guard first, and then I served active duty. I served 3 years in the same unit, and then I re-enlisted in the same unit. And this story, this journey that I'm telling, it's just a poem, but it's a 10-minute poem, that it's just telling you a brief moment, because we only have 10 minutes to talk, a brief moment of from the beginning to the start of a journey, and what I've learned, and why I'm here today, and why we're doing what we're doing. Okay. So to start with, I named my poem A Woman's Voice. Did you hear her voice? A girl that grew up in an alcoholic and emotional abusive family. Her father was supposed to be a role model, instead provided no positive guidance in her life. Her mother, expected to exhibit feminine strength, found herself voiceless, acting solely on her father's guidance. This little girl struggled to discover her identity, but found herself pushed deeper into a dark era by her family troubled history. The only friend, her only voice she had was her journal that she knew was not disappoint her or crush her dreams. She could put all her dreams and goals in this journal, where it empowered her and left her feeling like she mattered. Did you hear her voice? Imagine a young girl yearning to escape her family's toxic environment, only to plunge into depression and isolation, concealing her true self. She desperately sought to escape, but lacked the means at a young age. Of course, she was only 10. She was unaware of how to love herself due to the absence of such lessons in her surroundings. With no confidence, self-confidence, or direction, fate intervened when the military recruiter in her high school came to, and she immediately enlisted. Did you hear her voice? This woman, a soldier, enlisted during high school in search of love, to find a purpose and self-discovery. Spending a decade in both the National Guard and the active duty military, she worked tirelessly to understand her true self. She was an excellent soldier. She earned awards, she built relationships, but what she did not know and wasn't prepared for was military sexual assault. Assigned to a prominently male infantry unit as a young single female, she became a target, subject to relentless harassment and horrifying incident of sexual assault by trusting authority figures and objectifications. Trusting the higher rank males in her unit, she found herself abandoned to fight alone while her superior sexually assaulted her. The very person she said she'd trust for safety had violated her body and her soul. Struggling further, she believed her unit had her back, but instead the trust was violated. She was assaulted and then labeled a liar, and retaliated against her as a victim when reported the incident. She was subject for months of harsh disciplinary action. Her phone was confiscated, her outside legal rights were violated, and she was restricted to medical struggles. Her assaulter faced no consequences. He gained privileges. This woman soldier battled to be heard and believed. Did you hear her voice? A woman that transitioned from an excellent soldier to a broken soldier, burdened with post-traumatic stress disorder, military sexual trauma, and other mental health challenges, along with physical issues. She wrestled with suicide thoughts, which put her into a deep internal depression, concealing her pain. She felt isolated, untrusted, and misunderstood, no one to turn to for guidance. Regardless of others asking how she was feeling, she had to lie to protect herself while in active duty and tell everyone she was fine. Fine doesn't mean fine. It means lost. It means deep within my thoughts of harming herself. It means, who does she trust? Can you imagine being in a unit where every time you spoke it was used against you, or you had no choice but to bottle your feelings inside because every time you spoke, you were given more discipline and action against you. Did you hear her voice? This woman soldier became a veteran that felt she had nothing to live for. No one to hear her and listen to her. Instead, it was used against her. A woman veteran released from the military, not by medical board that should have happened, but by harsh punishments that followed her for years. She left the military with nothing. She feared the world and lost trust in others. What could she do? The only choice she was given was to fight back her benefits, her rights, her soul, and her voice. Her fight back allowed her to tell her story. This wasn't an overnight recovery or just one fight, but 15 years of trial and struggles to discover her voice. It was a slow process showing a way out of pain, out of mental health that pushed her aside while she fought. She set aside while she took care of her family and everyone around her. She avoided her feelings and stuffed them deep inside her. She didn't have to confront them. Over time, she started getting angry. She started pulling away from others and started getting into destructive behaviors. She didn't know she developed post-traumatic stress disorder with all the trauma she experienced. She fought herself inside when her life went downhill. She lost 2 careers, military and being a marriage and family therapist. She became unemployed and she lost her purpose in the world. Did you hear her voice? She believed her civilian life lacked purpose. With no resources left, her hope grew thin. She had many obstacles after she got out of the military, but this particular day changed her life forever. She found herself wandering aimlessly until she reached a riverbank, a place where she felt compelled to vanish. She felt she was a burden to others. All she wanted was the pain to go away. She got out of her car and walked slowly to the river with tears in her eyes. She sat at the end of the pier on the edge watching, waiting for God to tell her the direction to take, waiting for a sign to live. She still was a mother and a wife, but she did not see why life was important anymore. She just wanted the pain to go away. She sat there for hours until it got dark. In her mind, she thought to herself, when it got dark, no one would see her. Just when her urges got stronger to disappear from Earth, someone spotted her from a distance. That individual got closer and was the one that changed her life forever. That individual told her that a moment because of her struggles you are facing, but have others that believe in you, others that need you to walk the journey with them. This individual saved the life of this little girl, saved the life of this woman veteran, and saved the life of this woman veteran. Oh, I just said that. This military woman faced. God sent her the message she needed the day to continue her journey of healing. Did you hear her voice? Her voice of cry, her voice to want to live, her voice to want to be heard, her voice to express her pain inside and out. Her voice was heard inside, but not outside. She was given an opportunity to be part of something bigger than herself. She was invited to a fellowship, a women veteran outreach event where it continued to change her life. Her journey, her direction, it still took a few years to develop the whole self of what was in store for her. She kept trying to follow her passion and direction of the feelings God put her on, the path for herself and others. The more she was heard and recognized, the more she became strong. The more she valued herself and knew she deserved it, she knew who she was. She was strong enough to develop a voice that makes a difference. That difference started as a fellowship and developed into a nonprofit supporting military women. She went from a victim to a survivor. She fought for what she believed in. She had many obstacles to face, but she was strong. She was confident. She was persistent. And she found her voice. She made sure others heard her voice. So did you hear her voice? If you haven't, you will now. It's not just her voice, though. It's the voice of your sisters. It's the voice of the women that matter. It's the voice for the women that are struggling and haven't developed her voice yet. God told her not to fear to use her voice because her passion and drive will help others find it too. Thank you.